Bob Dylan, born Robert Allen Zimmerman on May 24, 1941 in Duluth, Minnesota, is one of the most influential and groundbreaking artists in the history of modern music. Over the course of a career spanning more than 6 decades, Dylan has redefined the boundaries of popular music and earned numerous accolades, including the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2016. Renowned for his poetic lyrics, distinctive voice, and eclectic approach to music, Dylan has left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape of the 20th and 21st centuries. Dylan was born to Abram Zimmerman and Beatrice Beatty Stone in a Jewish family. The Zimmermans lived in Hibbing, Minnesota, where young Robert spent most of his formative years. As a child, he displayed a passion for music, listening to blues, country, and rock and roll on the radio. He idolized performers like Hank Williams, Little Richard, and Elvis Presley, whose energy and charisma greatly influenced him. In high school, Zimmerman formed several bands, experimenting with different genres and performing at local venues. Despite the constraints of a small-town upbringing, his love for music flourished, and he began to write songs and develop his own style. Influenced by the Beat Generation poets and folk musicians such as Woody Guthrie, he started to gravitate toward folk music in his late teens. In January 1961, at the age of 19, Dylan moved to New York City to pursue his musical ambitions. He immersed himself in the burgeoning folk scene in Greenwich Village, where he performed in coffee houses and small clubs. Dylan's early compositions were heavily inspired by Woody Guthrie, whom he admired greatly. His debut album, Bob Dylan, released in 1962, consisted mainly of traditional folk songs and a few original tracks. Although the album received modest attention, Dylan's talent as a songwriter began to gain recognition. He quickly followed up with the freewheelin' Bob Dylan in 1963, which included iconic tracks such as Blowin' in the Wind and A Hard Rain's a Gonna Fall. These songs, with their poetic and socially conscious lyrics, cemented Dylan's reputation as a voice of his generation and a powerful figure in the folk revival movement. During the 1960s, Dylan became a prominent voice in the civil rights and anti-war movements. His songs resonated deeply with the social and political upheaval of the era. Tracks like The Times They Are A-Changin' and Masters of War became anthems for a generation seeking change. Dylan's relationship with fellow folk singer Joan Baez, who introduced him to a broader audience, further elevated his status. Together, they performed at rallies and protests, including the historic March on Washington in 1963, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech. In 1965, Dylan shocked the folk community by going electric during his performance at the Newport Folk Festival. Backed by a full band, Dylan played rock-oriented versions of his songs, a stark departure from his acoustic folk roots. The move was met with mixed reactions. Some fans felt betrayed, while others celebrated his evolution as an artist. The controversy did little to deter Dylan's creative output. His subsequent albums, Bringing It All Back Home, 1965, Highway 61 Revisited, 1965, and Blonde on Blonde, 1966, are considered some of the greatest works in rock history. Songs like a Rolling Stone and Visions of Johanna showcased Dylan's lyrical brilliance and ability to blend various musical styles. In 1966, at the height of his fame, Dylan was involved in a motorcycle accident near his home in Woodstock, New York. Although the extent of his injuries remains unclear, the incident marked a turning point in his life and career. Dylan withdrew from public life, focusing on his family and personal well-being. During this period, Dylan recorded a series of informal sessions with the band, which later became known as the Basement Tapes. His music took on a more introspective and stripped-down quality, evident in albums like John Wesley Harding, 1967, and Nashville Skyline, 1969. In the late 1970s, Dylan experienced a religious awakening and converted to Christianity. This spiritual transformation was reflected in his music, leading to a trilogy of gospel-inspired albums: Slow Train Coming, 1979, Saved, 1980, and Shot of Love, 1981. Songs like Gotta Serve Somebody earned him both praise and criticism as he explored themes of faith and redemption. As the 1980s progressed, Dylan's musical output became increasingly eclectic. While some albums received mixed reviews, his live performances remained a significant draw. Dylan also collaborated with other iconic artists, joining the supergroup Traveling Wilburys alongside George Harrison, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, and Jeff Lynne. The 1990s marked a creative resurgence for Dylan. Albums like Time Out of Mind in 1997 earned critical acclaim, with the latter winning the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. His songwriting matured, often exploring themes of mortality, love, and the passage of time. In the 21st century, Dylan continued to release new music and tour extensively. Albums such as Love and Theft in 2001, Modern Times in 2006, and Rough and Rowdy Ways in 2020 showcased his enduring relevance and artistic vitality. Dylan's ability to reinvent himself while remaining true to his roots has solidified his status as a musical icon. In 2016, Dylan became the first musician to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature, awarded for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. The honor recognized the literary quality of his lyrics and their impact on global culture. Dylan's acceptance speech, delivered in the form of a recorded lecture, reflected his humility and deep understanding of artistic tradition. Bob Dylan's influence extends far beyond music. His poetic approach to songwriting has inspired countless artists, from Bruce Springsteen and Joni Mitchell to Patti Smith and Leonard Cohen. Dylan's work has also been the subject of extensive academic study, with scholars analyzing his lyrics, themes, and cultural significance. Beyond his musical contributions, Dylan has ventured into other artistic pursuits, including painting and sculpture. His visual art has been exhibited in galleries worldwide, further demonstrating his creative versatility. Bob Dylan's journey from a small-town boy in Minnesota to a global cultural icon is a testament to his unparalleled talent and unwavering commitment to his craft. Through his innovative approach to music and profound lyrical insights, Dylan has redefined the possibilities of songwriting and left an enduring legacy that continues to inspire generations. Whether through his protest anthems, introspective ballads, or explorations of the human condition, Bob Dylan remains a towering figure in the annals of art and culture.